Saram, this is Sai Satcharitra, chapter 20. Das Ganu's problem solved by Kaka's maid. In this chapter, Himatpan describes how Das Ganu's problem was solved by Kaka Sahib Dikshit's maid. Preliminary, Sai was originally formless. He assumed a form for the sake of his devotees. With the help of the actress, Maya, he played the part of the lead actor in the big drama of the universe. Let us remember and visualize Shri Sai. Let us go to Shirdi and watch carefully the programs after the noon Arati. After the Arati ceremony was over, Sai used to come out of the Masjid, stand at its edge, distribute udi, ashes from the fire Baba kept burning all day in the Masjid, to his devotees. With very kind and loving looks, the devotees also got up with equal fervor, clasped his feet, and stood there staring at him. Enjoying the shower of udi, Baba passed handfuls of udi into the palms of his devotees and marked their foreheads with udi with his fingers. The love he bore for them was boundless. Then he addressed each of the devotees individually as follows: "O Bhau, go have your lunch. Anna, go to your lodgings. Bapu, enjoy dishes." In this way he accosted each and every devotee and sent them home. Even now, one can enjoy these sights. If one brings into the play their imagination, they can visualize and enjoy them. Now bringing Sai before our mental vision, let us meditate on him. From his feet up to his face and prostrate before him. From his feet, humbly and lovingly. Let us now respectfully revert to the story of this chapter. The Ishavasya Upanishad. Das Ganu once started to write a Marathi commentary on the Ishavasya Upanishad. Let us first give the readers a brief summary of this Upanishad before proceeding further. It is called a Mantra Upanishad, as it is embodied in the mantras of the Vedic Samhita. It constitutes the last chapter of the Vajrasena Samhita, Yajurveda, and it is therefore called Vajrasena Samhita Upanishad. Since it is embodied in Vedic Samhitas, it is regarded as superior to all other Upanishads, which occur in the Brahmanas and Arya Nyakas, explanatory treatises of mantras and rituals. Other Upanishads are considered to be commentaries on the truths mentioned briefly in the Ishavasya Upanishad. For the instance, the biggest of the Upanishads, the Brihadanayaka Upanishad, is considered by Pandit Satwalekar to be a running commentary on the Ishavasya Upanishad. Professor R.D. Ranade says, the Ishopanishad is quite small Upanishad, and yet it contains many hints which show an extraordinary piercing insight. Within the short compass of 18 verses, it gives a valuable mystical description to the Atman, a description of the ideal sage who stands unruffled in the midst of temptations and sorrow, and the adumbration of the doctrine of Karma Yoga, as later formulated, and finally, a reconciliation of the claims of knowledge and work. The most valuable ideas that lie at the root of the Upanishad are that of a logical synthesis between the two opposites of knowledge and work, which are both required according to the Upanishad. Page 24 of the constructive survey of the Upanishad philosophy. In another place he says that the poetry of Ishopanishad is a commixture of moral, mystical and metaphysical form. From the brief description given above, anyone can see how difficult it is to translate this Upanishad from Sanskrit into a vernacular language and summarize its exact meaning. Das Ganu translated it into Marathi, verse by verse, but as he did not comprehend the gist or essence of the Upanishad, he was not satisfied with his performance. He therefore consulted some learned men regarding his doubts and difficulties, and discussed it with them at great length. They did not solve his doubts, and nor did give him any rational and satisfactory explanation. So Das Ganu was a little restless about this matter. The Sadguru is the only one competent and qualified to explain. As we have seen, this Upanishad is the quintessence of the Vedas. It is the science of self-realization. It is the weapon which can rid asunder the bondage of life and death and set us free. Therefore, Das Ganu thought that only he who has himself attained self-realization could give him the true interpretation of this Upanishad. When nobody could satisfy Das Ganu, he resolved to consult Sai Baba about this. When he got an opportunity to go to Shirdi, he saw Sai Baba prostrated before him and mentioned his difficulties to the Ishavasya Upanishad and requested Baba to give him the correct solution. Sai Baba blessed him and said, "You need not be anxious, as there will be no difficulty in this matter." Kaka Sahib Dikshit's Maid solve difficulties of this nature. In Bombay, on your way home, the people who were there heard this and thought Baba was probably joking and said, "How could an illiterate maid solve difficulties of this nature?" But Das Ganu thought otherwise. He was sure that whatever Baba said must come true, as Baba's word was the decree of the Brahma, the Almighty. Unique method of teaching. From the above incident, the reader will see that Baba's method was unique and varied. Though Baba never left Shirdi, he sent some to Machindragarh, Kolhapur or Sholapur to practice sadhanas. To some he appeared in his usual form, while to others he appeared when they were awake or dreaming and satisfied their desires. It is impossible to describe all the methods that Baba used in imparting instructions to his devotees. In this particular case, he sent Das Ganu to Ville Parle, where he solved Das Ganu's problem to the maid's sister. To those who say that it was not necessary to send Das Ganu to Ville Parle and that Baba could have personally taught him, we say that Baba followed the best course. How else could Das Ganu have learned such a great lesson? How could he have learned that a poor maid and her sari were pervaded by the Lord in such a practical way? Now, we close the chapter with another beautiful extract about this Upanishad. The ethics of the Ishavasya Upanishad. One of the main features of the Ishavasya Upanishad is the ethical advice it offers, and it is interesting to note that the ethics of the Upanishad are definitely based upon the metaphysical position advanced in it. The very opening words of the Upanishad tells us that God pervades everything. As a corollary from this metaphysical position, the ethical advice it offers is that man ought to enjoy whatever God bestows on him, in the firm belief that whatever is bestowed on him by God must be good. It follows naturally that the Upanishad should forbid us from coveting another man's property. In fact, we are all fittingly taught here a lesson of contentment with one's own lot, in the belief that whatever happens is divinely ordained, and it is hence good for us. Another moral lesson is that man must spend his lifetime always performing actions, especially the karmas enjoined in the Shastras, with a mood of resignation to his will. Inactivity, according to the Upanishad, would be the canker of the soul. It is only when a man spends his lifetime in doing actions in this manner that he can hope to attain the ideal of Nashik Karma. Finally, the text goes on to say that a man who sees all beings in the self sees the self as existing in all beings, and for whom everything that exists has become the self can never suffer infatuation. What ground would such a man have for grief? Anger, infatuation, and grief verily proceed from our not being able to see the Atman in all things. But a man who realizes the oneness of all things, for whom everything has become the self, must ipso facto cease to be affected by the common foibles of humanity. Page number 169 to 170 of the Creative Period by Messrs. Belwalkar and Ranade. Both to Shri Sai, peace be to all.